right, I will call this meeting to order. My name is George Nava, the Mayor Pro Tem for the City of Brawley. Our Mayor, Mr. Sam Couchman, is joining us via Zoom tonight. He's not here in attendance, so he's asked me to lead the meeting, so I'm doing that today. I'm calling this meeting to order for the Brawley City Council and successor agency to the Brawley Community Redevelopment Agency. Our regular meeting for October 18th at 6 p.m. here at the City Council chambers. If we can have the roll call, please.
Yes, the minutes will reflect that all the council members are present. Mr. Couchman is present via Zoom.
Thank you very much. And the next item on the agenda is the invocation led by Councilmember Hamby.
All right, let's all stand. Let's bow our heads and pray. Gracious Heavenly Father, we are grateful to you again this evening for your hand of protection upon this city. We thank you for each employee that puts in their best effort to make this city a good place to live. We thank you for those that dwell in our city, Lord, and we ask that you would just continue to protect us, that you would watch over our proceedings this evening, and that you would go forth before us. And we pray all this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Councilmember Hamby. And our Pledge of Allegiance led by our City Manager, Mr. Tyler Salcido.
Thank you. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Thank you all. Mayor Couchman was slightly delayed and he was throwing off my pledge here, but it's all good, you know? Right? It's all good. It's all good.
I've heard that when someone sings the national anthem for a ball game, that their sound is delayed.
It is. There's delays.
So it throws a lot of people.
It does,
off,
absolutely. I remember when we presented at Sergio Romo, the delay, because they don't have professional delays, where it's microsecond delays in concerts. And so the delay was coming back at me and it's confusing. So yeah, it absolutely is true.
That's
so anyway,
the mayor this evening.
So the mayor's performing that act right now just for us, you know? Thank you, Mr. Mayor. All right. Next item on the agenda is the approval of the agenda. Is there a motion to approve the agenda as written?
I'll make a motion. I'll second.
There's a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much. The next item on the agenda is public appearances and comments not to exceed 4 minutes. This is the time for the public to address the council on any item not appearing on the agenda that is within the subject matter jurisdiction of the City Council. The mayor will recognize you when you come to the microphone. Please state your name for the record. You're not allowed to make personal attacks on individuals or make comments which are slanderous or which may invade an individual's personal privacy. Please direct your questions and comments to the City Council. Is there anyone here from the public that would like to make a comment? All right, please.
So good evening, Mayor Couchman, City Council. My name is Ronna Fox. I'm the superintendent for the Brawley Elementary School District. So I come before you tonight with 2 notes of gratitude and an invitation. First of all, I want to extend my appreciation to Commander Blackstone and Chief Duran, who came to our most recent school board meeting to address concerns and questions by my school board regarding a school resource officer. Also to Chief Duran and Carla Romero for working with us toward securing an MOU in which we can employ a school resource officer for the Brawley Elementary School Districts. I've been very grateful for their patience and their explanations as their understanding as we navigate that process. Secondly, a note of appreciation for City Manager Tyler Salcido for addressing our school district's concerns regarding the overgrown salt cedar trees there on Cesar Chavez. As you are traveling north on Cesar Chavez, those salt cedar trees grow halfway into the street, and we are concerned with our student safety and the visibility of traffic when northbound traffic has to move into the southbound lanes in order to pass that area. So a note of appreciation. Most excitedly, I come before you tonight with an invitation. I have an invitation, if I may pass them out.
Of course, please do.
I have an invitation for you to join us on our groundbreaking ceremony. We're very excited to note that we will be breaking ground on Brawley Elementary School District's newest school, our middle school at the corner of Cesar Chavez and Mainland. Our groundbreaking will be groundbreaking.
It's groundbreaking.
Groundbreaking will be on November the 1st between 8:30 and 10 a.m. We are inviting Mayor Couchman to speak. As a note of welcome on behalf of the City Brawley, if he should so choose to do so. We will have refreshments, a meet and greet from 8:30 to 9, and then our presentation will begin at 9 a.m. right there at 715 Cesar Chavez at the corner of Mainland and Cesar Chavez. So We invite all of you to attend. We'd be more than happy to host you there. We will have refreshments, shade, because we're not sure if it'll be warm or cool, and a very short program to honor the groundbreaking for our new middle school, which will be named by the end of this school year. So again, thank you for your support of Brawley Elementary School District, your care for our students and our families and our staff, and your support as we take on this 6-year long-awaited school, our Brawley Middle School there at Maitland and Cesar Chavez. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We appreciate the comments, and we're certainly there to support, so thank you. All right, the next item, is there anyone else from the public here in attendance that would like to make a public comment? Is there anyone online? Mr. Garibay? No comments online. All right, thank you. So the next item is a presentation on Imperial Valley College Master Plan and updates presented by Director Brett Hauser. Let's make some noise for Mr. Brett Hauser. All right. Welcome back.
Well, I've never left. I'm still down.
Right, you're still
Brawley
here.
resident,
There you go.
and I just took my show on the road for public safety.
Show's on the road, brother.
Just a quick, thank you very much for having me this evening, but just a really quick update. The police academy is going great.
Fantastic.
So, really excited. Made some good updates.
I've seen the original Police Academy and the ones that followed, so that's good stuff. You know
Basically
what I mean?
documentaries.
Right, yeah, right. Documentaries, is that what they're, yeah,
That's right.
That's good. That's a good.
All right, so, as part of the school, and how I'm kind of seeing this presentation as I presented throughout the different organizations in the valley, it's kind of the first end is a report card on how IVC is doing in its master plan. So we'll be covering a few of these things this evening. Please interrupt me all along the way for questions. All right. So as anything, Institute of Higher Education, these are our strategic goals, working with our students with the resources that we currently have, and it's going really well, really well. I skipped one. Oh, where's that? There we are. So this is the nightmare scenario that a lot of young folks face or feel like they're facing when they're coming into our college. We made a considered effort to streamline this. I don't know if you've ever had to go down and register for anything. Definitely 20-something years ago when I was doing it, but it's gotten a lot better. As an organization, we've gotten together in all the different divisions and departments within the school to make it really easy for them. The whole point for them to show up is not just for the school experience, but to make progress towards whatever they're wanting to do. But clarifying that path, entering that path, and then staying on it. That's a huge component for us, is keeping them there. So what we find, and it's with any population, but especially here in the valleys, we have some barriers that some of these students are facing. Could be food insecurities, housing issues. So as an institution, we've gotten together with some of our faith-based service groups to be able to provide food and also housing. This is kind of innovative throughout the entire country. We've gotten together and done tiny homes. And I want to say there's 25 of them over by Lowe's, if you had a chance to go out and visit those. Amazing how that came together. And they're occupied. And to hear some of the stories and what that has done for them has been amazing. It's been inspiring for that. So it's an incredible program. So these are kind of comparison maps of our campus. The one on the left is currently what we have. As you can tell, we have some temporary buildings there in red. They've been operating for multiple years. The demands for higher education, although the pandemic kind of squelched those for a short period of time, is there, and it continues to grow. In the state of California, we're actually showing one of the highest percentages of return to school rates, and we continue to grow all the time. Now that I'm kind of in this community college network, you hear about what's your enrollment numbers and how's that looking. A lot of schools are really suffering. Still trying to get folks to come back to school. But Imperial Valley is doing really well. Our numbers are very well, getting big. On the right are some of the proposed, and these are not obviously the scale of things new projects that we're looking at as we move forward. This is part of our master plan. It was established, I want to say, some years ago now. I want to say 5 years ago, 6 years ago. And this was the idea to update some of these. So as you can tell, the Safety Training Center, or an idea of what it could be, was in that plan, and then updating some of our other facilities to include career education building, which is kind of up on the, it's kind of the L-shaped looking one there in the middle. So through the efforts of Measure J, which was passed in 2010, these are some of the improvements that have come in. Oh, 1 second. I'm sorry. These are some of the improvements that were made through Measure J. They completed the auto tech facility, or it's going to be completed in 2024. They also installed, and I didn't know this prior to me going down there with the police academy, it used to be kind of a spotty situation where the cadets would have to go through different rooms, and they were practicing defensive tactics on the grass and things outside. They didn't have the facilities. But because of Measure J, they were able to build 3,100 and 3,200, which you can kind of see in the top left there, where we're at now, where we can do all of our police training in one location, which has been a huge asset for us. Outside of the range, we're still having to go out, and we have a great arrangement with Calapat Prison. But besides that, we run our mat rooms and all of our instruction, everything right there at the facility, which has been great. Fire's not faring as well. They're still having to, because of just the sheer size of the program and all the equipment that they use, they're still having to bounce around throughout the entire county for some of their training, which causes kind of a logistic challenge. But we do enjoy the 3,200 building, 3,100, which is our career education, which is full of our HVACs and weldings and auto and everything else. It's career education. There's a lot. Ephraim Silva's done an incredible job down there, so.
I like the helipad.
Yeah, we can see that.
Good at.
Where's it at?
That's gonna be on the top, we'll show you.
1A.
Okay.
These are some of the other accomplishments that we have with Measure J. A new disability support program services building. We've been down there for the opening of that. Vitally important services that we get to some of our students that are challenged in certain ways. Campus lighting, library, the counseling center, updates and renovations. The college center now, if you've been there before, where the kids kind of, students hang out or have some of their activities, it's been blown out now. It's a huge, beautiful building. We have a lot of our community stuff outreach there. The students have a great place to hang out. Especially, I noticed this in the summer. For years, they had to go out on the benches, and look for some shade. So this is really awesome to have. The new renovations to the nursing building is amazing, building 2100. We've updated HVAC systems, which in the Valley, it's inevitable. Some of those systems were online for like 25 years, so those are updated. This is great, the keyless entry and lockdown capabilities. Obviously, because of my background, working with some of their campus safety is trying to address how do we handle threats on campus, and to have that capability coming to the campus is awesome. Updating the tennis courts and obviously restroom facilities. Those are future build-out plans, is the restroom facility at the athletic fields with lighting, and then the auto tech building. So. This is a great program that continues to grow, but it's grown to that place in the facilities where it needs the space in order to continue to serve the students. Which brings us to Measure B. Where's my? So this is Measure B. It's going to be up on the election on November 8th. This is a general obligation bond. It's for $130 million. It's quite an investment for the county. But it's at a tax rate that's never going to grow bigger than 3 cents per $100 of assessed value. So there's some misunderstanding out there that it was based on the value of your home, the current market value. It's not. It's the assessed value, which I think is a really important distinction. So this also, and I know it works in the school districts as well, in the K through 12 program, that by having funds available like this, we can go and apply for match funds from the state as those become available, which is really important because you can leverage that. So this is our signature project. Obviously, the one I'm most excited about is our Regional Public Safety Training Center. Reaching out to our law enforcement partners, our fire partners, our EMS partners, and some of our advisory committees. So we have to get together so many times a year and hear from practitioners, what can we do as a college for you in our training programs? Our chiefs here in Brawley have been great about showing up and sharing what their ideas are. So we pulled together everybody and said, what does this look like? What do you need? So as we kind of floated different ideas, and the fire tower was definitely, I'd say, number one-ish. Yeah, number one for that fire tower. To be able to have that facility for them to train is invaluable down here. So we don't have one currently either. Also, and this is exciting, Donnie, you might like it, indoor shooting range. Which in the Valley is a game changer. Not just for our in-school programs, but in-service training, which is another huge component that we talked a lot about.
Yep.
So, and I'm sure a lot are aware, but one of the challenges that we have in public safety is getting the training that our folks need in order to stay current and meet all the mandates of the state as those continue to change. And you're very familiar with the non-funded mandates that continue to come out from the state, and that really impacts agencies. In fact, not so many years ago, during, in fact, after the recession 2008 and 9, they shut down a lot of training reimbursements completely. And so for us, we're kind of taken off the table for a little while, that we couldn't send our folks out to these. So looking at what it costs us to send folks out to training, we were looking at about a 40% of whatever we want to send them to, 40% of that has to do with housing them, per diems, transportation, which is a huge bill over time. And just my experience with Brawley, extrapolating that out to the 250 uniformed officers that are just in the Valley, just on the police side, we were looking at about $300,000 in the Valley that was leaving, which was a huge problem. And then availability was another concern for that. And then traveling is another concern for that. When you send your resources out to get trained, it's great they're getting training, but we have to replace them here, or we have to run short. And that works across the board in fire and police. So opening up this regional training facility is going to allow us to train our new firefighters and police officers, paramedics, emergency staff here, emergency medical technicians here. The most important part, I think, is it's great we're going to have this for our academy setting, but we're going to open our doors to in-service training in the Valley. Through agreements with agencies, we'll be able to bring folks in, have our instructors, and teach folks here. So that 40-hour class is no longer, you don't see somebody for a week, that they go home to their families every night and then come here to train every day. So the possibilities for public outreach as well, especially with an indoor range, to be able to, I know CCWs have come up in conversations lately, but to be able to have that resource available to the community to come in and utilize that would be awesome. That would really be great. So, any questions on the first part?
Any questions? Keep going, my friend.
Keep going. All right, cool. Obviously, I touched on some of the cost efficiency or effectiveness of this training facility. Part of this also has to do with what's great about partnering with a college and all of your oversight bodies, like STC for corrections and post for police, state fire marshals, or state fire, is that when you're in those occupations, you're going to need in the future educational credits to move forward, educational credits to obtain those higher levels of certificates for promotions. Partnering up with the college is a really great way to get those. So it's not just training units that they're looking at, but they're looking at college units as well. So obviously reducing our training time for law enforcement and their travel. This is great when we're talking about the build out of it. And I didn't bring a rendering of it tonight, but building out an EOC that can possibly, we're going to teach it or treat it as a mock EOC. I think we're woefully unprepared in that regard. Every jurisdiction is, but set that up to where we can come in and train cities on how to properly run an EOC, and ultimately, if need be, to provide it as a backup for jurisdictions if we have a countywide problem. So, also. Haven't touched on this yet, but the lithium technology, lithium's coming to the Valley, hopefully. I know there's a lot of hoops that we're going through. But once again, Career Education Services has done a really great job of trying to prepare programs getting ready for that. As part of this bond as well as building out 2 laboratories for lithium technology or technicians to work. And I know SDSU has a similar program. The distinction is SDSU is handling the college education, engineering, designing type levels of jobs that are going to be out there. But there's nothing in the Valley for training folks on how to be like the feet on the ground. The technicians, the ones actually going out there, getting their hands dirty on it. So to be able to open up a couple labs to this and train folks to be ready for that, it's going to put us in a great position in the future. So preliminary results went out to voters within the Valley itself. We got a very favorable return, 64% were in support of this. Like I said, it's $130 million. It's a big ask of a community. But I think they see the value of keeping state funds, or I'm sorry, keeping our funds here. And we'll get to that in a second. This is the language for this measure, and draw some special attention to that these funds cannot be taken by the state. So it's not one of those things where they're going to come in and say, well, you have to turn over X amount of funds to do your program. It's going to expand our possibilities here. It's not mentioned here, but a really important part of this, none of these funds can go towards salary. None of them go towards administrative costs, support costs, personnel whatsoever. This is 100% put into the facility and programs. So I know that those eat up a lot of cost. Here's some additional projects. The whole building itself is not going to cost $130 million, but developing different programs for the lithium side of it. We're going to be upgrading our STEM, modernizing classrooms. I know we're doing that through Measure J as well. That will continue on. A lot of our buildings are very old. But I'll be updating the security systems, which is really important for the safety of the students and everyone on campus, and obviously addressing some of the deteriorating roofs and other costs of time. So, and definitely replacing some of those portable classrooms that have been around for quite some time. So like I said, these can't be taken by the state. The oversight for this will be an independent citizens oversight committee. Lets us know, it makes us accountable, obviously, so not just going to turn over an empty check to us, but working with community members on this is what our plan is and continue with the buy-in. And none of these funds, once again, can go towards administrator salaries, pensions, benefits. So excitingly, it's just the timing of it, 60 years. Which is amazing. So I was sharing this with my father-in-law who went to school there in 1967. Yeah, it's kind of cool. So he was talking about the campus back then. There's been a lot of great changes. And then if I draw your attention to the Aspen Prize. So this is like the Nobel Peace Prize for community colleges. On an annual basis, they'll go through and look at over 1,200 community colleges and see what's working and what's not. They whittle down that number of community colleges and their programs, what's successful, what's not. We've been named as one of the top 10 in the country. So this last week, we had an opportunity to meet with their panel that came out for the site visit and share some of the success stories that we've had, challenges that we continue to have. They were very positive, in their responses to us. One comment they made was, it's amazing with the resources you guys have, how great you're doing. We've automated a lot of really great programs, mannequins that are mechanical now, and simulators that we have, indoor shooting simulators for that, driving.
I remember that.
But it's helped our students be succwill as they've entered into the workplace. So
Not just that, it's modern technology, and so you expect maybe to see it in other places, but, I'll be honest, in the past few years where I've gone to attend conferences and other things at IVC, is so much different than when I attended many years back, and it's impressive. It really is, so.
Yeah, there's been a lot of thought and a lot of sweat put into that, and it really is an accomplishment. We're hoping that we find out, I think by the end of the year, the awards will come out. It's $1 million prize that's divided up with the top 3. So we're looking really great.
It's good.
We start looking at data, and IVC I think it's going to be number 1, not just because I like it, because I like data and looking at it. We're doing really well and performing well. So. Just some details about the Aspen of what they're looking at, how are students doing, and kind of revert back to that original slide of, do they have a plan? Are they coming in with a plan? Are we helping them reach their goals, that they're not spinning their wheels for several years? And it seems to be working really well. And then transferring out to other schools and how well they're doing there. Our priorities continue to move forward. We just want to our safety enhancements. Dual enrollment is exploding, which is great. Getting early on into the schools, in the K through 12 schools, mostly high schools, and getting them interested in college credits as they move forward and start building their plans. So updating our website, as always, working with the community members that we have. Athletics, they're doing great. Some of those improvements to our location is going to be highly welcomed. Some of the lighting out there, they can't play night games currently, but to be able to add that's going to be great, to be able to host games and things here. And then continued professional development. So it's a great organization. It's a great institution. I've enjoyed my time. You guys know me, and I'm thoroughly impressed with it still. So I'm more than happy to answer any questions you might have about.
No questions. A short comment from me, at least. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Mr. Mayor.
No, go ahead,
Mayor
please.
Pro Tem, sorry. Just
Councilmember
a
Warren,
short
please.
comment. First off, I'm proud of what you're doing down there as Brawley's own, Mr. Hauser. And I think the presentation you just gave is just jam-packed full of information, great update. Not with just the measure, but obviously really where IVC has come from and kind of where it's going. But you hit on many things that are near and dear, obviously, to me, by career, by trade, by vocation. So I just emphasize to the tax-paying public, it's a very difficult topic, whether it's a bond or a tax. God knows we've gone through that, as a city, to some extent in supporting something like this. I will just say this. I just have my firsthand experience of not just myself as a reserve deputy, if that wasn't there, but numerous young folks that have come through the program over the years that have gone on and have had successful careers. There's success stories about, all over. EMTs, medics, nurses, need I go on. So services that are so valued by our public safety, this has been the conduit, but there are true opportunities. So I'm just backing up everything you said. I've seen it firsthand, so.
No, I think those are good comments. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, I also want to express my support for this bond. We talk a lot about a lot of the issues that we've had over the years. You're very familiar with the issues here in Brawley, right? With the turnover and so much of this that we can't keep these positions filled. I know that one of the first discussions that I had when elected with our Chief Duran was a homegrown program, right? That helps with that turnover issue. And people take more pride when it's their hometown. So with this program and all the things that you're doing down there, and if, when this bond passes, we're able to create all this stuff down there, it's going to certainly trickle down and help us in our community here locally. And, people complain about crime and whatnot. These are the types of measures and bonds and things that help improve and fix a lot of the problems that we have in our community. So thank you for all your hard work. Appreciate the information.
And I would just say this, I did some simple math. What it means to me is about, at least for one of my homes, right, is about $7.50 a month, right? That's my contribution, which is not very much, right? And so I think when people think of bonds or taxes, I used to be one who would say, nobody wants to pay taxes, nobody wants to. But I think people will support that. They will pay it because think about it. When you live in a community that has HOA dues, you'll pay them because the area is landscaped, it's improved, it's safe, it's whatever, right? So we're willing to pay. We just maybe not be willing to pay when we think that government is taking it and spending it recklessly. But when you see the improvements that you've made at the college and you see the technology that's being used and improving our community, I think it's something that people can see and feel and touch and really kind of realize that not only are their kids, but their grandkids and other people are I'm a graduate of IVC, and look where I ended up, right? Yeah, right. No, I'm kidding. But it was an opportunity. I'll be honest with you. I say this to many people. It's like I have a master's degree, I have other things, but really my true education came from IVC. My ability to write effectively, speech courses that I took there, ability to speak in public, all those sorts of things came from IVC, so I'm very supportive. But anyway, to me, it means $7.50 approximately a month. Mm-hmm. Not very much to support something that's way bigger than me. So anyway, good. Any comments from?
Thank you for the presentation, Brett. And I also am an IVC graduate, and I volunteered for about 20 years as a firefighter in Westmoreland. And if there had been courses like this available when I was going to IVC, I definitely would have taken them and, probably changed the direction of my life. But but certainly it's good to see these offerings there now and into the future. I just had a question. Do you know what the term of that bond measure is? Like how many years it takes to pay?
I don't have it available. I can find out in return for you.
And it may depend on
It's a long time.
how
about
much
that?
how much comes in each year. But yeah, it's probably going to be
Right.
a couple decades. But yeah, it's just good to see these improvements happening right here in Imperial Valley. And I too, George, I appreciate my time at IVC. I went on to go to college in San Diego, and the foundations that I got at IVC were very good for me.
Yeah,
so.
they were for me. Mr. Mayor, he's on the line as well. Anything you'd like to share, Mr. Mayor?
Yeah, just thank Brett for the presentation, really nice presentation. I'm always supportive of IVC as a graduate many years ago. I've always been real supportive of IVC and what its mission here and educating the youth of Imperial County, and I think they do a fine job. So I'm always supportive of IVC. And with that, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Hauser, it's always good to see you.
Likewise.
Welcome back to Brawley and their council chambers. So let's make some noise for Mr. Brett Hauser. Thank you. All right, well, moving on. Next item is the consent agenda. Items are approved by one motion. Council members or members of the public may request consent items be considered separately at a time determined by the mayor. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda as written?
Also move.
There's a motion to approve, and there's a second. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is item 4, City Manager Report.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. I have 3 items. First up, just a reminder, for this weekend is the Brawley Fall Cleanup at the airport, and George Taylor, Operations Manager, is here in attendance, but with just another reminder that this Saturday, back at the airport. So thank you for that. And then second item is Pacific West Communities, Inc., the developers for Eastern Ridge Apartment Complex. That's over there on I Street and 18th. They are applying for an infill infrastructure grant to the tune of about $604,000 to help with funding of some of the off-sites improvements that they are required to do for that development. And unless there's any opposition, I want to keep everybody in the loop, the mayor will be signing a letter of support for that grant. And lastly, but not least, we have some great news that the Chief of Police, Mr. Duran, will come and fill you all in on.
Chief Duran, the $1 Million Man.
Literally, as you'll find out.
This is new, $1 Million Man.
There you go.
Good evening, members of the council, public, city manager, Jimmy Duran, Chief of Police. So today I'm excited to give you some great news because, as you know, we've been applying for quite a few grants, and I think we've been very successful. But this one, I truly believe that it tops what we've been doing so far. We applied for the fiscal year 2022 COPS hiring program, and we were awarded $1,348,000 for our department. So this is ready to be used now, and this is to hire additional law enforcement officers for our city. And the way it was written was to hire 5 officers for the next 3 years. Of course, that will be covered, but again, we are working the details with city manager and our finance director as how we're going to do this, and of course, the plan to maintain this in the future. So
Over $1.3 million. Big round of applause.
Fantastic.
For 5 officers, that's fantastic news, Chief. And I have said this before, and you know it, but you've done great things since you've arrived here in the city of Brawley, and you've spearheaded the department, and you've led the department in getting grants and opportunities for our community. I know sometimes people are critical of what we do within the city, but I've been very vocal, and I think we all have been very vocal in expressing the fact that our city absolutely does apply for grants and does so much work. This is just one small example. And if I hope I don't steal your thunder, Chief, but I do know that you're applying for some other grants that are worth probably hundreds of thousands of dollars, am I right?
yes, we actually are waiting on the results of another one that it should be worth about $800,000. So we're waiting on that. That's personnel grant as well. But again, we're waiting for the results on that one. That's a state grant.
And we're hopeful
And
for
this is a
that.
federal grant.
Yeah, no, that's great news, fantastic. Comments from council, please.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is something that any comment that we get from the public as far as, critique or concerns, a lot of times with PD has to do with personnel. Do we have enough officers on the ground? And this is, this has been a long time in coming, and it's just, I think we're all amazed by what you're able to accomplish in such a short amount of time at our police department, Chief Duran, but very grateful that this is a grant that goes toward paying personnel. So many of the grants that you're able to obtain are for equipment or things of that nature, and they don't go toward personnel costs or paying payroll. So this is, I mean, I don't know what the percentage is, but it seems like 90% of the grants that we're able to get here in the city they can't go toward payroll or toward personnel costs. So this is pretty amazing, and I think it's just one of those overnight successes that took, months and months to get to, but it is, as Mayor Pro Tem Nava said, it's when people say, things aren't happening, grants are not being sought after, this stuff is happening, and if people watch the meetings or come to the meetings, they'll see that work is being done. So thank you very much for the work that you do.
And Mr. Mayor, if I could I'm just adding on, and I'm sure our Councilmember Castro will probably echo some of these, but acknowledgement to your team. I know it's a team effort also in the process of being, people think some of this might look easy. and they can be very competitive process, but a lot of it also has to do with the quality of paper that's cut, so to speak. So just huge kudos to the team you put together. That's all part of what we're talking about, and all of it really lends itself to better service delivery. So these are difficult times. We've echoed that for the past couple of years, no question. When you look at the world around us and what we've been able to accomplish so far, I know there's always more to go, but it's tremendous. And I attribute a lot of that, again, to a heck of a team that's come together. So, Chief, it's an eye for talent.
Not just chief, but command staff and your officers, everybody, like working together.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they're all doing great. I mean, and we're looking at the numbers, right? We're looking at the data as people are, all the, what do they call, barstool commanders out there. Got a lot of stuff to say, but we are looking at the actual data, at the metrics, and we're seeing what's happening in our community. Although some of these are more high profile and people are talking about it, we know for a fact that since you came on staff, all the numbers are improving. And so thank you so much. And man, I would say everything they said, right? Because it's the folks at home don't understand how difficult, how competitive, and how many agencies are applying for all this. Same thing with Parks and Recs and these other areas. So the fact that you're having success means you're doing an excellent job. So thank you so much, Chief. We appreciate everything you're doing down there.
Mayor Couchman, anything you'd like to add?
Yes, congratulations to the chief and the staff for success in this grant and others. I know we've been working together and doing a lot of things here at the city. I'm very pleased and proud of the police department and the efforts that they've made, and a lot of good things happening. And I think that this is an example. 5 officers means more safety for the citizens, more safety for the schools and the students, more safety for everybody. And I think that's important to the people that I've talked to here in the city. And they always want more officers on station, and they always want more out there from our law enforcement. Hopefully this will help provide that. And but looking forward to more of these types of grants and more of these types of services for the city, and hopefully that will increase our safety levels here in the city. I think we're doing a good job, and I think we continue to do that, but I think we're going to continue to do a good job, or a great job in the future. So thank you very much, Chief.
Thank you, Mayor Couchman. Chief, if I may ask you, I know this council recently approved an item to help you with the hiring process. Is it maybe too soon to tell, but do you think that has helped?
Let's just say we got 3 applicants from other agencies. Let's just leave it at that.
Okay, well, there you have it. I mean, so that was quick acting, right?
Yes, and again, I want to extend my gratitude to this council and to our city manager, because realistically, without your approval, without your leadership, without your trust in what we're doing, this could not be possible. So the fact that this council has been behind us 100%, it's what it's allowing us to do what we're doing.
I think it's a team, Chief.
And of course, the staff, Commander Renee McNish and Commander Jonathan Blackstone, I mean, they've been great assets. There's no way I can do this by myself. I mean, if it wasn't for those 2 men standing behind me, there's no way I could do what I'm doing. And also our finance director, who's always willing to, to help us out, go, burn the midnight oil and get us the numbers we need. And of course, our city manager, who's always, there for us and supporting us in our decisions and encouraging us to do this kind of stuff. So again, appreciate everybody's
Thank you.
help.
No, it is absolutely a team. It really is a team. It's not just city council, it's not just the management or leadership staff, it's everybody on board to make sure that we're working together, and we have been. I mean, I know that people are critical sometimes, but if they would just take some time to look to see what we're working on and doing and accomplishing and changing, it's phenomenal. The past 2 years have been phenomenal for us, so I'm encouraged by it. Chief, anything you'd like to add with respect to maybe it's too soon, student resource officer, and you could comment on that?
Yes, actually, today we did meet with Ronna Fox, who's here behind me, and we are getting pretty close on an agreement on their MOU. She mentioned it earlier, and I'm also excited about that because that's something that since I got here, we've been trying to get to where we are today, and it's within reach. I mean, hopefully, we are hoping that within the next 30 days even, we can come up with an agreement. So that's our hope. I mean, we still gotta, go through the motions here per se, but we are very close at this point.
Well, we're here to support that effort, so.
Yep.
Thank you very much, Chief. Great news. Over $1.3 million in grant funding for 5 officers. Great job.
Yeah. You may as well stay there, right?
Oh, let's see.
Mayor Pro Tem?
Oh, there we go. I think you're next. Let's see.
Stay up here.
He just wants to be introduced as a $1 million man again. $1 million man again.
I kinda
ladies and
liked it the
gentlemen.
first time, so let's
Right,
try it
right,
again.
right, let's keep it going.
Chief.
All right.
Chief,
He's like, it's $1.3 million man, if you must, right?
have you taken a minute to add up all the resources that have been brought in the last 2 years?
No,
I'm just curious,
we're
'cause
hoping.
It's a lot, it's a high amount.
That is good. Actually, I was talking to the city manager about it, and we're actually considering doing that. I think we need to do
You
that
should,
to give
absolutely.
a report to the council.
And just visually, so
Yes,
people can see, like,
yes.
this is what's being brought in. Fantastic.
So definitely, we'll work on it, Mr.
So the next item on the agenda is, are you done with your city manager report?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
thank you very much. Next item on the agenda is regular business number 5, discuss and approve to accept $9,937.25 from Bulletproof Vest Partnership Grant Program administered by the United States Department of Justice. Funds are to be used for purchase of officer body armor, and this is to further authorize the city manager or designee to execute all grant-related documents. Presented again by our $1.3 million man, Mr. Chief Duran.
So again, here we are doing more grants. We're shooting for anything we can get. So I appreciate that comment you made that, we are doing it. We are constantly going out there and researching. And this is a grant that covers for 50% of bulletproof vests. So in this case, we bought 17 throughout the last year. So we're able to recoup 50% of that, which is the amount of $9,937. So again, that's 50% of what we spent. So this is actually something that we're getting something back. I mean, we're not,
Great job.
covering the whole amount, so.
Is there a motion to approve the item or
Mr. Mayor,
discussion?
I'd like to make a motion and a quick comment, just so the public knows. I just happen to know that these things like body armor do actually expire and go, quote, stale, so it is a perishable item. They don't just last forever. I know sometimes people maybe think that, so again, it's great that we're able to, under these circumstances, take advantage once again, Chief, of some more funding. So anyways, I make a motion.
There's a motion. Is there a second to that? There's a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Chief. Good job. All right. And then this next one, again, discussing item 5B, discuss and approve travel and budget adjustments for Detective Daniel Schleier to attend training. This training, Internet Crimes Against Children, National Law Enforcement Training on Child Exploitation, is directly tied to the Detective Schleier's assigned duties. The training, hosted in Orlando, Florida, December 12th through December 14th, 2022, is sponsored using funds awarded by the San Diego Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force. Presented by, who wants to say it?
At $1.3 million.
There you go, the $1.3 million chief, all right.
Well, once again, I'm asking that you review and approve this train and associated budget adjustments, and this is to send Detective Schleier to the ICAC training. That's the Internet Crimes Against Children training. As you know, Detective Schleier does this on a part-time basis, and he's very successful at it. He makes quite a few arrests a year, and he's actively looking for sexual predators in our communities. And again, this program is awesome, and we are requesting that you approve this training. And again, this is no cost. ICAC task force will pay for the full cost. So we will pay for it, and then we'll get reimbursed. So I'm hoping that you would review and approve this.
Thank you, Chief. Anybody would like to make a motion?
I'll make the motion to approve.
Councilmember Hamby, make a motion.
I'll second.
Councilmember Castro, second. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Chief.
Thank
And
you.
congratulations again. Thank you. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is informational reports, update on City of Brawley declaration of local emergency. It's presented by Fire Chief Mike York. We do have the backup material, and I think if there is any questions from council, they can be answered. If not, we can just review it and move past. Yeah. Thank you, Chief. All right, next item on the agenda is city council member reports. And we will begin with council member Luke Hamby.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Just really short. I'd like to wish my son Joel a happy birthday this Saturday. He'll be 2 years old.
All right, Joel.
And also to invite the public to a sort of a kickoff to the cattle call season. The Imperial Valley Master Corral puts on a cowboy-themed concert, and they're going to do that this Sunday at the Pioneer Museum at 3 p.m., and I may or may not be singing Johnny Cash there. So
All right, there we go. There we go.
that's all I have.
Thank you very much. Councilmember Wharton.
Yes, Mayor Pro Tem, thank you. I'll be brief as well. Spent half of last week out of town for a little bit of work in the industry, but did have an opportunity, unique opportunity to address our congressional senator, Padilla, on rural health issues / EMS and the support of. So it was kind of a unique opportunity to give Brawley / Imperial County a shout out in that forum. It was a political action forum, but again, it was pretty neat because it was immediately acknowledged, as I know he has spent time here personally, going back in a little bit of time. But again, when it comes to health matters that are nonpartisan, hugely important. And in case some of the public may not know, again, whether it's our local healthcare district or El Centro Regional for that matter, I will say we're lucky to have what we have, but we've got to have continuous support that really comes from above. And like we always talk about our city services that are 24/7, if healthcare services like we have dry up or become limited or tougher to access, again, that could be a huge problem. So again, always supportive of anything and everything related to that, and had that opportunity today. So look forward to the coming events coming up. That's it.
Thank you, Councilmember Wharton. Councilmember Castro.
Thank you, Sir Mayor Pro Tem. I don't have much to report, just I've been kind of working with our Parks and Recs Director, Rachel, on November 11th festivities, Veterans Day. I hope you're all invited to be, speakers on that tongue-tied today. Sorry. We are looking for somebody to sing the national anthem. So I always take these events as an opportunity to showcase local talent, whether it be, whatever, the catering services, whatever it might be. And I know we've had folks come in the past. I would like to see, I did call some of my friends at the Brawley Union High School District, see if any students are talented and wish to sing the national anthem. But I don't know if, Rachel, if you found somebody yet. If not, we're still looking. November 11th at 6 p.m. here. So hopefully we get some people to answer the call. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'll give my remarks before we let our mayor close it out. And so just want to share with you, I've met with some local business owners on some opportunities here in the city of Brawley. Not quite yet to discuss exactly what that is, but I'm excited just to see them. And I'm also working on a few things that I'll share in the future. Exciting stuff. I'm excited about it, excited about the future of Brawley. There's a lot of good things that are happening here, and I think people will see it over the course of the next 12 months or so. So I'm excited about that. I'll keep it tight-lipped for now, but we'll pass on to our mayor. And one other thing, also we'll be having our ICTC meeting here very soon, the Imperial County Transportation Commission meeting. We're still in the process of selecting a permanent CEO. And so we're having a day-long, well, not a day-long, but a half-day-long meeting with some consultants to finalize a candidate and to help lead that organization. It's very important to the entire county, so I'm hoping we make a good choice and we move from there. So I'll leave my comments at that, but Mr. Mayor.
Yes. Well, I don't have too many comments. I would like to apologize for missing several events in the last week. I will just indicate to people why I'm not there tonight. I did test positive to COVID. I'm almost 10 days ago, and I expect to test negative here within the next day or so, and hopefully I'll get back to normal, and I'll be able to attend some events, and things should go back to normal fairly soon. It is an interesting virus, and I will share that with everyone. I do urge rapid treatment, and I think if you do that, in most cases, I think you will come out all right. And so I do apologize for missing on quite a few events here recently in the last week, but I expect to get back on track here by the end of this week, and certainly in the next week. And there's a lot of events going on, so and leading up in the county call. And so everything should be back to normal at that point in time. With that, I didn't do much because I've been here at home. And I wanted to err on the side of caution tonight. I believe that I'm pretty symptom free, but I just didn't want to, I wanted to err on the side of caution and zoom in tonight for this meeting. So thank everyone. I know people have been calling me with concern, and I want to tell them that I am fine things hopefully will move forward. Thank you very much.
Mr. Mayor, we thank you very much, and we appreciate you being on Zoom here tonight, even though you're not at your best. We wish you well. Thank you. All right. So we will move forward with our city attorney report.
Just go Padres, right?
Go Padres as city
Yeah.
attorney, right? There you
It is
go. All right.
A big deal.
So there is a correction on the agenda. It does say closed session 5 PM. That was just a placeholder for our last meeting that was overlooked. But just want to thank everybody in attendance. Thank you all very much. And for those watching us live on the internet, we appreciate you sticking around, and hopefully you learned something today, especially about some of the grant opportunities that we're taking part in. So thank you all very much. We're going to go into closed session immediately following this meeting. Thank you.
Thank you.